Welcome to Concept Craft. We are presenting step-by-step videos training to crack your certification exam, so you can gain the confidence to take on any accounting challenge. Now let's begin our today's lesson. Tracking profitability by customers. Learning outcomes. In this lesson, we'll cover tracking profitability by customers and sub-customers in QuickBooks Online. Topics: job costing and sub-customers, setting up sub-customers, assigning expenses against customers, running reports by customers. Knowledge is power. It can be hard for clients with many customers and projects to keep track of all the jobs they're doing. They may need additional categories beyond classes and locations to measure the profitability of each of their jobs. How can you in QuickBooks Online help? Clients can create a hierarchy of sub-customers in QuickBooks Online, allowing them to keep track of multiple jobs per customer. Clients can easily run reports on the profitability of each job by categorizing each transaction, invoices, expenses, and so on, to individual sub-customer. Job costing and sub-customers. Let's start by looking at job costing. Job costing refers to measuring the profitability of a job by tracking direct expenses against the revenue produced. This allows your client to see how much money they spent on each job compared to how much they made. If the client has billable time switched on, they'll also be able to keep track of billable time by job. You can learn more about this in the billable time lesson. This information gives clients insight into the factors that most influence profitability so they can make informed decisions about their business and increase their profit margins. How can clients get a more detailed picture? To track the financial performance of individual jobs, clients can create sub-customers for their customers and assign invoices and expenses to them. Sub-customers can represent many things, such as multiple locations of a project, subgroups within a larger organization, or a growing list of projects delivered to a customer. For example, law firms may add the different cases or matters they work on for their customers as sub-customers. Contractors may set up their customers as a parent and their customers' locations as sub-customers. Nonprofits may track their grantors as customers and the individual grants they receive as sub-customers. The diagram below illustrates how a handy person might create a hierarchical structure for one of their real estate customers by assigning the customer's properties as sub-customers. They can then track jobs done for each tenant living at a property by adding another tier to the sub-customer structure. In the illustration above, the real estate customer is the top level, parent, customer, the properties are sub-customers, and the tenants are a further level of sub-customer under each property. How many customers and sub-customers can you add? For each customer, you can add up to 4 levels, tiers, of sub-customer. So each customer is limited to 5 tiers of hierarchy, including the parent customer. However, you can add an unlimited number of customers and sub-customers at each level in the hierarchy. In the example below, the client has 2 parent customers, Broad Street Communications and Commercial Customer, and the commercial customer parent has a number of sub-customers. Clients can assign multiple sub-customers to a customer, but they can't link a sub-customer to more than one customer. If you or a client wanted several customers to have a specific sub-customer, you would have to create a sub-customer under each parent customer. After setting up sub-customers, you or your client can assign financial activity to the jobs and start job costing. Setting up sub-customers. Let's set up sub-customers for an existing customer. Let's start by defining the labels for customers and sub-customers. Select the gear icon and select Account and Settings. Select the Advanced tab. Select anywhere in the Other Preferences section to enable editing. Select the required label from the Customer Label drop-down. In our case, we select Customers. Select Save. Then select Done. Now let's create a new customer. From the left-hand navigation, select Sales. Select the Customers tab. Next, select New Customer. In the Company field, add the name of the sub-customer. In this example, we're adding the address 125 Main Street because the job is for an existing customer, but at a different property. To make it a sub-customer, check the As a Sub-Customer box. From the Parent Customer drop-down that appears, select the existing customer. Next, select whether to bill the parent customer or this sub-customer. In our case, we leave Bill Parent Customer selected because the parent customer will be paying for all their sub-customer jobs. If this option is unchecked, clients would need to select the sub-customer name on the Receive Payment screen to see the invoice. The client would not see the sub-customer's invoice if they selected the parent customer. In the Customer Center, customer balances do include the balances of their sub-customers, regardless of which option is selected. Finally, select Save. Assigning expenses against customers. Double-sided items are available in QuickBooks Online Plus and Advanced. If you have these packages, you should use double-sided items to record all expenses related to certain sub-customers. To do this, you first need to adjust your client's account and settings so that they can assign expenses to sub-customers. It's also best to use items on purchase transactions when tracking profitability by customer. This improves reporting. Select the gear icon and then Account and Settings. Select the Expenses tab. Select anywhere in the Bills and Expenses section to allow editing. Make sure that the Show Items table on Expense and Purchase Forms option is selected. Make sure that the Track Expenses and Items by Customer option is also selected. This adds a customer column to purchase transactions. To invoice for purchases incurred, turn on Make Expenses and Items Billable. You can learn more about this in the training on billable expenses. Then select Save. Then select Done. With these settings in place, you can now assign the following purchase transactions against jobs: checks, bills, expenses, vendor credits, purchase orders, and credit card credits. Now let's assign a purchase transaction. To do this, select Plus New, then check. Note that when you open a new check screen, everything is recorded in the same way as it was before we made changes to account and settings. The difference is that there is now also a customer column. Add or select the correct pay, bank account, payment date, category or item, description, and amount. Select the customer drop-down to assign the expense for the job to the customer or sub-customer. Finally, select Save and Close. And we're done! Running reports by customers. Now let's look at how you and your clients can run a profit and loss report for specific customers or jobs. Select the headings to learn more. How do you see how much the client made on a job? From the Business Overview grouping in the Reports Center, select the Profit and Loss by Customer report. If you want to see the total amount made per job, change the dates to all dates. What are the transactions in the Not Specified column of the Profit and Loss by Customer report? Transactions in the Not Specified column represent transactions to which no customer or job was assigned. If your client wants to track profitability by customers, they should always assign a customer to transactions. To ensure this happens, set up an overhead customer to which you can assign transactions that don't specifically pertain to a job. If you don't do this, you won't know whether the transactions in the Not Specified column were not assigned to a customer intentionally or by mistake. How can you run a job profitability report for specific sub-customers? Yes, there is a default report for profit and loss by customer, but you may want to filter it for a specific job or jobs. You can do this by customizing the report and using filters to choose only the job or jobs you want to see. You can also change the title in the header to mention the specific jobs in the customized report. How can you track the profitability of products and services? You can customize a profit and loss report to show columns by items to track the profitability of products and services. You can also filter the report by specific customers and sub-customers to see item profitability just for that job. To do this, run a profit and loss report and select Products/Services from the display columns by drop-down. Again, with the filters in place, it would make good sense to identify the filters in the title and the header. Summing up. Learning outcomes. Well done. In this lesson, we covered tracking profitability by customers and sub-customers in QuickBooks Online. Knowledge recap. You can now help clients who do several jobs for each of their customers to track profitability by customers and sub-customers. This allows them to run customized reports that tell them how profitable each of their jobs is. Next steps. In the next lesson, we'll cover setting up and using projects in QuickBooks Online.